Testing, 1, 2.
Testing, 1, 2.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, but it has to be turned on. Click on the back and flip it up.
Testing, testing.
Thank you. And then Marie and Kevin. Has to be turned on now. Right there on the top, there's a switch.
Hello, hello.
Hello, very good.
Test, test.
Very good. Thank you so very much, everyone.
And it'll tow all that. And that price. Never heard of it. I mean, is it a warranty and all that?
Yeah, there's a warranty for everything. You get two.
Yeah. Buy the other crap. Yeah, they might not want them in the future, Right?
They only
Yeah. Right. Why do you need more than, you only got two bodies? They can't,
Yeah.
What's that?
Probably, you're gonna have to keep cracking
yeah.
y'all up.
Oh, yeah, oh, God, yeah. Uh-huh.
Then it go, then your back, and then it just goes to your neck.
Everything's connected, so this goes out, and then your body will compensate and throw that out. And,
Oh, no. 24th of
Twenty-
June.
June's when you go, and I'm not going to be at the next board meeting. I'm going to be at, or June 11th is our,
Yeah, that'll be fine, no problem. Yeah.
but yeah, I'll be in St.
I didn't even bring my phone.
Oh, good.
Or did I? I did. I just didn't have it. Oh, goodness gracious. This is my husband's legs, and look at the cat.
That's your adopted kitty, right?
Well, remember that black one for me. This is a gray one from the village. She like, they have
Nice.
no worries in the world, do they?
None, yeah. Just hang out, sleep.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's 9:30, so I'm going to call the meeting to order and start off with our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledges to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this morning is a workshop meeting, so we won't be voting on any of the agenda topics, but just digging into a little bit more of the details before we put them on an actual board agenda. So first of all, determination of quorum.
Good morning, Board and Summer Glen. Yes, we have a quorum with all 7 board members present, and the meeting was noticed in accordance of Florida Statute 720 and the Summer Glen governing documents.
Thank you. Next up, resident input. Do we have any resident input? Is there anybody signed up on the form back there? Thank you. Okay.
Jody on there? Is she on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so first up is George Englert. George, I see you are signed up for 2 topics, but you are limited to 3 minutes total.
No problem. First item is George Englert, Lot 546. I'm here to represent not only myself, but the Summer Glen Softball Association. With regard to business item, new business item number 6, where was it? E. I'm assuming that the board has taken into consideration delving into a project of this size right now with petroleum prices where they are. You may want to think about where we are on moving forward on this one right away. The second one is I'm here for to support the board on any discussions on item 6H, the ball stop netting system, and on the replacement of dugout benches up at the softball field. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here to support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Jody Hooley.
Jody Hooley, Lot 40. I'm reading a proposal on behalf of Jerry Doan at Lot 559. In the regards to the CRF 2026-0008, this proposal is to prevent the removal of the large oak tree behind the RSO. The proposal consists of the following steps. Removal of the asphalt and radius from the trunk of the tree, approximately 12 to 15 feet, giving close the distance to the tip of the grass near the rear entrance of the RSO, which will result in the semicircular area around the base of the tree. Cut back any roots that extend to near the edge of the new semicircle. Trim the canopy of the tree back 5 to 7 feet to discourage further root expansion. Fill in the new area with soil and grass as required. The new area will serve as a boundary, allowing lines to be added to the golf cart parking, including handicap parking. The benefits of this approach are as follows. We'll save one of the most beautiful trees in the town center. The cost of this proposal will be much lower than the current CRF with removal of the tree and re-asphalting, and will result in reduced impervision surface, whereas the current CRF will increase it. The additional handicap parking will provide easier access to the only automated door to the RSO, and it is expected that though this approach, we will be able to extend the life of the tree by at least another 5 years based on the current root growth. He would be happy to provide drawings for this proposal if you request. Thank you. And Diane doesn't agree.
Did Jerry tell you to say that also?
Now that's funny.
Okay, next up is Carol Steck.
Good morning, Carol Steck, Lot 1006. Item J, the camera update, $1,200 seems like an awful lot of money for a camera, and I'm wondering why, or are we getting additional quotes or estimates from other vendors perhaps? The other 2 items have to do with the items A and B. One, the social committee using Cook Together. I am concerned about risk and liability. I really am. This is not, there was a, part of the packet had a clip of something that I don't know whether this was a search on Florida's site, but it said, in Florida, catering license is not required for serving lunch to residents in a 55-plus community, provided that no alcohol is served and tickets are sold. And I read that and I went, tickets have to be sold? Or is this a poorly worded item that said, that should have said, and no tickets are sold? I mean, I just really find this a very, very little weird. The other is I just think that you're opening the door for a lot of disagreements and arguments between different clubs in terms of, well, why are they hiring Cook Together? Because this is not the HOA cooking. This is the HOA paying a club to provide catering. And personally, I'm like, why aren't you enforcing or requiring that they use our restaurant that we're all supposed to support? So again, I'm really concerned, and when I talk about competition between the clubs, that also plays into the next item, which has to do with the craft fair being turned over to Cook Together. When I first moved here, the craft fair was organized by a single individual. And now we're hearing, oh no, it takes much more work and et cetera, et cetera. And the craft fair used to be about Summer Glen crafters being able to showcase and sell their wares. A year or two ago, all of a sudden it became this, oh, let's bring in outside vendors and turn it into this big event. And then I heard this year that, they haven't gotten as much response from Summer Glen crafters. And I'm wondering how many of them may not have signed up because, well, we're competing with all these professional, craftspeople. And again, can a club bring in outside people like that? And I understand there was some conflict between Cook Together and at least one other club regarding restrictions on who could sell items at the bake sale. These are the things, this is the conflict we need to avoid. And best way to avoid it is not be using clubs for things like this. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, next up is Bob Saltzman.
Hi, Bob Saltzman, Lot 1007. I came up because on the agenda I got by email, there was an item 6K, which was the estimate for overseeding the golf course. When I came in, I was going to talk in support of overseeding the golf course because I thought it would be wise for us to not, to stop doing that which may have changed our ability to get outside revenue in as well as inside revenue because it looked so great. So I didn't know why it was off the agenda. Maybe it was a typo, but that's why it came up. Also, I didn't get another email telling me when the board packet was compiled and put out. So I don't know if that ever took place. But anyway, so if you allow me, I'm here to say, please overseed again. Thank you very much.
Okay, that completes the list of resident input. So next up, business for today's meeting. Start off with item 6A, which is the social committee sponsoring the fashion show, Cooking Together, providing the food. So, I don't know, does anybody want to walk us through this?
We have representation of clubs here that they can walk us through if you'd like.
Social committee has, we have the
Jerry,
fashion.
can you get a little closer to the mic?
Sure. The social committee holds a fashion show every year. This year, we decided that we wanted to have a certain menu. And so we built up a menu. We submitted a proposal to the restaurant. They were not able to do it. We also contacted Cook Together, who was able to provide it at, as you see, $23 per person. On the summary, I believe it has final payment of $39.59. That is contingent on how many tickets are sold. So it would be, say we only sold 100 tickets at $23 a person, that's $2,300. So that title, or that amount there, is strictly for all 160 tickets being sold. We would be selling the tickets for $25 each. The extra $2 would cover the sales tax. Cook Together has also provided a one-time insurance policy naming Summer Glen as the beneficiary should anything adverse occur. We have been in contact with the Florida Licensing Board. We have spoken directly to them. And if we do not sell tickets to the outside public, we are not required to have a catering license. The minute that you start selling food items to the public, non-residents of Summer Glen, that's when the catering license comes into play. Also, we are not serving alcohol. If we were to be serving alcohol, even if it was only to residents, we would still have to have a license. We are not serving alcohol. What other questions?
So just to clarify, this is an internal program just for the community, just for community members. They've provided information regarding taxes, and they've provided information regarding special event insurance, just to cover, to make sure that if there's an issue, the HOA is not going to be responsible. We put it in this packet because we thought that this checked all of the boxes for something that could be approved that would not hinder or cause any issues with liability for the association.
Okay, so on the one page, it looks like this is a Google search that was done with some information.
We did, and then from there, we contacted the Florida Licensing Board and spoke with them directly.
Okay, so I did not talk to them, but I did a Google search also, and what you were saying, I found the same information, but it did go, the one search I did do went on to say that it talked about food preparation area. Where is the food being prepared?
In the RSO.
Right, so it wasn't, it specifically said it cannot be prepared at an individual's home.
Correct.
So if it's being prepared in the clubhouse kitchen is the way it was
Correct.
worded, the clubhouse kitchen must have a commercial food service permit. So I don't think our kitchen area in the RSO has gone through a permitting process to operate as food service.
Not aware of one. Not aware of one. We can certainly look and see, but that's, never heard of that.
So that's something I came across as I was doing a search. So it then went on to say, contact the DBPR, Division of Hotels and Restaurants, to get clarification for your particular circumstances. So from what I'm reading, it sounds like if we had the RSO kitchen permitted as a food service just for our own internal use, then all of this would be legit. I'm not sure whether that caveat in here would preclude us from doing this. So I would suggest that somebody go back to DBPR, Division of Hotels and Restaurants, and ask that specific question, where the food is being prepared, does it have to have a commercial food service permit?
And we should have those answers in writing, not just,
Yeah, not a verbal from a
Verbal, I heard-
telephone conversation.
yeah, exactly.
You know, Jeff, additionally, and what was just read from, about the not requiring to have a license, we shouldn't forget the very last sentence in that paragraph that says, however, it is essential to comply with all applicable food safety regulations and ensure that the operation meets the standards of the Florida Department of Health, whatever
Yeah, that's what-
that may be. That's part of the deal. We can't look at half of this.
Right, that's what
and
prompted me to
cherry-pick.
go to the next step and look at, okay, what is really there required. So it does appear that, from what I could find online, I didn't talk directly to the people or get anything in writing from them, but it sounds like the kitchen would have to be permitted as a food service.
Jeff, if we can reach out and get something in writing from them regarding the licensing for the kitchen, or for the RSO kitchen, and we don't need one, can we go ahead and agree to put this on the agenda for June?
Well, I have a question concerning the insurance. So looks like it's $209 to buy the event insurance, and that is being charged back to the HOA?
No, that is being covered by
It is-
Cook Together.
There's,
On their,
it's a paid receipt for. an
that's for the
insurance
craft
policy
fair
for that
bill.
day.
That's for the craft fair bill.
Okay,
On the
so
summer,
that comes out of the $23 meal cost?
correct. It states that, event insurance included in price on the Summer Glen Fashion Show contract 2026. That is being covered by Cook Together.
Okay.
Jeff, I have a comment.
Sure.
How does this dovetail with the pancake breakfast that the veterans do? I mean, I've never heard of any problems with that. I mean,
Well, that's one of my concerns that I see is if you're gonna look for some kind of license for the RSO kitchen, it's going to affect a lot of different groups. So we just need to clarify that. I don't see that, I haven't seen that apply in any other of the communities that I've ever served, but to get the information in writing from the health department would be the correct thing to do.
I only bring it up because I love the pancake event.
Yeah,
I love
and-
supporting the veterans. I don't understand why now, all of a sudden, this is a very similar situation. They provided insurance.
Well,
I mean,
It is similar.
it is similar. There are, from what I've researched online, there are carve-outs for nonprofit organizations, which the Veterans Club is. And, there's carve-outs for school groups and churches and other nonprofits. So again, it just because we got away with it in the past doesn't mean we should continue doing it. So we just need to verify from DBPR if we're preparing meals in that kitchen, do we need to get it licensed? If we do need to get it licensed, then that license would carry over to any of the events.
right.
Not just unique to this particular one. But, again, I don't know the details. I think it's pretty basic. It's just making sure that the sanitation is there, the refrigerator's at the proper temperature and things like that.
Right.
But I think there's something in there also, there's supposed to be a designated person who is responsible for doing food safety training with any volunteers involved, and so on. But yes, we have the same problem with the snack shack and the softball field. So I've already talked to Denny Wyckoff about that, and there's a very good possibility that the snack shack may need a food service permit from Marion County as well.
We need to get a permit czar for the community.
That's a fact.
George can volunteer.
Let's see if we can reach out to DBPR, and if we can get something in writing that would clarify that issue, then that would be the number one thing that would be holding it back from approval, correct?
Probably.
Okay.
And just in the future, it says, under the contract, it says Cook Together Club will become the official caterer of the fashion show. Probably not a good idea to use that terminology. Yeah, no, but it says the official caterer. And it's just minor, not a big deal, just. Any other questions on that topic?
He's got his hand up.
Okay,
I'm in the process of getting,
Go to the microphone.
right now, I'm in the process of getting my certification for kitchen and sanitary food preps and managing kitchen kitchen preparation. And I'm paying for it out of my own pocket. I'm not asking softball or anybody else to pay for it, but I am getting certified in food sanitation and managing kitchen prep and, well, I don't know, I don't have
No,
the
I-
formal word with
okay.
me, but you understand, and I'm paying for it myself. So just so everybody knows.
all right, thank you for the
I'm
information.
gonna
I think that's the path we're going to have to go, I suspect we're going to have to go down
And
with
I'm-
all these
Right.
functions.
And I'm going over to Snack Shack with a fine tooth comb. Refrigeration, I'm having, all the thermometers are gonna be placed. I'm ripping the whole thing apart, making sure there's no health code violations in that Snack Shack or the pantry. So, and I'm going over the list, whatever the cost tells me I need to have in the Snack Shack. Okay,
Thank you.
so,
Thank you, Diane.
Also, I'm not sure Diane knew this, but John has been working with Denny. John from the Taverns is working with Denny. He's got an acquaintance that's going to go inspect the Snack Shack to see what it needs to be done, what needs to be done for an outdoor facility such as that to be brought up to standards. The other thing I think we ought to do as a community, is not piecemeal this thing. We got too many organizations doing too many different things. It's not only the Snack Shack at the softball field. It wasn't until recently that the Softball Association, for all their dinners, they had 4 events during the year, were doing the cooking themselves. Most recently, we just started doing the catering. And this past year, we had the pasta dinner dance in January, catered by John. And we're probably going to continue doing it that way. But in the past, for 16, 17 years, we had up to 4 events each year where we had members of the Softball Association doing the cooking at both the RSO and at home kitchens. So we got to get our hands around this whole thing, otherwise it's going to be a mess. We're opening up Pandora's box here, and I think we ought to do this in an organized fashion. And no, I do not want to be the permit czar.
But you already have so much experience, George. Yeah, so we need to, I think what may make the most sense, we need to investigate it, is to find out what it would take to get the RSO kitchen with a commercial food service permit for doing our own internal events, not for any sales to outside people. It would, as long as it's restricted to just Summer Glen residents, I think that food service permit may be the route to go.
We'll work on that.
Okay, next up is the Cook Together sponsoring the craft fair.
Jeff, my first question would be, it's my understanding that the social committee always ran, obviously, the craft fair, and that was their huge revenue maker. No?
No, 3 years ago, it was run by the Cook Together Club.
Cook Together's
But-
done it before.
But how do we let me go back to how do we balance the social committee's budget without the craft fair revenue? Because it's supposed to be a break-even operation. So that's my big question.
That's correct.
Well, if I understand this correctly, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but if I understand this correctly, it would still, all the ticket sales would still go through the HOA, and the revenue would go into the social committee budget that funds all the other events as well.
Shaking their head no.
Okay, then, completely different story than what I was understanding.
Jeff, is the Cook Together Club an official club to be,
They have an IEN
to be
number.
operating under the auspices of the HOA?
Yes, they are recognized club.
Have they ever been, do they have a charter? Do they have they registered with the HOA? Or are they one of?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
One of the regular clubs?
Yes, as far as I'm
Jody's shaking her
aware.
head
And
yes.
in fact, you have whatever necessary form for sales tax and everything else.
Yes. Yes. Now, the craft fair. 2 years ago, Cook Together sponsored the craft fair because members of the social committee got fed up and walked off, and there was either going to be no craft fair or Cook Together would sponsor it. Cook Together generously said, we will sponsor it. That's where the money came for the stoves and the sinks in the RSO. The table rental fees go straight to Cook Together, and they will determine where they want to spend that money. One of the reasons that social committee decided not to sponsor the craft fair is because there are a few reasons. One of them, it's a huge amount of work, and there aren't that many willing people on the social committee that are able to step in and lend a hand. The other thing is all of the money that is made at the craft fair, the social committee has no say in where that money goes. It's held in November. It's toward the end of the year. Our budget has already been made. All of our events have already been scheduled. And no, we are right now running in the black, and we have budgeted our money to where by the end of the year, social committee will not need any of the funds from the craft fair. We will come out at a zero balance, with or without the craft fair. And they voted not to sponsor the craft fair this year. But Cook Together will pay all the taxes on the table rental. They have already done a one-time event insurance again for the craft fair. Any other questions?
I see a major problem with
Yeah.
profiting from event with outside ticket sales.
We do not charge ticket sales.
Well, you're
We
charging
charge a
table
table
fee.
rental. Right.
Still. And so the Cook Together is making a profit off of that. I see a big problem with that.
Well, you have to go to the second half of the deal. What if if this thing happened to, it rains like crazy or something, and this thing generates a loss? Whose pocket does the loss come from?
What loss would it generate if it rains?
I have no idea.
Everything's, all the booze are paid for.
I'm just suggesting that if there is a loss from whatever reason, the way that it's apparently set up here is the revenue goes to the Cook Together Club. All right. If this is going to be done under the auspices of the HOA, the revenue goes to the HOA. And then the HOA is in a position, would be in a position or a responsibility to bear making sure all of the costs are paid for. But if you get a situation where the revenue is going to go to the Cook Together Club, but the financial responsibility for the event falls on the HOA, that doesn't match. It doesn't. You can't do one side one way and the other half the other way. It's either got to be an HOA event, 100% get the revenue, incur the cost, or the cooking club.
gets the revenue and incurs the cost, and
Jerry,
keeps the
where-
profit or bears the loss. But we can't go half and half. It doesn't work that way.
Where did the money for the craft fair go last year?
It was absorbed into the HOA.
There you go.
When it was the social committee,
When
yeah.
it was under
But it's
social
a
committee.
social
Yeah.
committee.
Correct.
Okay.
I wasn't
Correct.
aware that the previous year, the money went to Cook Together. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
No, I think it'll
And
work.
that's when we bought the stoves and the sinks and, yeah, that's where that money came from.
And but they're paying the taxes for that income.
We are. We're paying the taxes, we're paying the insurance. There is no revenue loss. If it rains, it's still indoors. And the people that are outside, they have their own pop-ups. They know that rain is a possibility. There are no revenue losses.
In other words, there's no guarantee of returning craft table ticket money to anybody.
If we need to return craft table
Yeah.
money, then it comes from the
Right.
funds that Cook Together's already received. The HOA is under no obligation financially whatsoever. None. Nothing for advertising, nothing for anything.
Seems pretty black and white to me. They're in charge of it. I don't see just like it was a couple of years ago.
If they got the manpower, I mean, unless we don't want to have it, but if we want to
It's their
have it.
tax
then-
returns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just trying to think of the implications. If any other club wants to bring in an outside entertainment and sell tickets to the general public, not just Summer Glen residents, is that okay?
Every single vendor is required to
That
either,
doesn't make, I don't care about the vendors. I'm just talking about in general, if we open up that door, if any club wants to bring in any kind of outside entertainment or anything else and sell tickets to the public, is that, I don't know if that, they're allowed to do that.
So they're not, we got to clarify it. They're not selling tickets. They are,
It's a
Send-
semantics, it's a ticket versus a table fee.
Well-
It's still, they're charging admission
To the crafters,
to the crafters.
correct.
Like this that goes on in the community?
Doesn't the social committee's charter, and correct me if I'm wrong, say it's for Summer Glen?
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons, my understanding is one of the
It
reasons why they're
was.
backing out of doing it, because it's
Well, I
opened
mean,
up to the outside people.
Well, it'd be in violation of their charter, as is today.
do we have anything else that happens that's similar to that? I know we used to have groups in here a long time ago, and we quit doing that. But when we hired groups for entertainment, they had to have insurance. They had to check all the boxes,
Right.
for that, their own insurance, their own coverage. They had to show all that. And then we had to pay taxes on anything that was incurred. So,
every vendor is required to either have their own insurance or they sign a hold harmless agreement on the back of every single registration that is sent out.
If there's not enough, do you think there's enough inside vendors to make it worthwhile, or do you have to go outside?
No, you have to go outside. No, not at all.
now this has shrunk a little bit
When
last
when
year.
you say you have to go out, what do you mean by you have to go
If we
out?
were going to have an inside community craft fair, we'd have maybe 10 or 15 tables.
So be it.
Okay, if you want to run a craft fair with 10 or 15, it's not worth it.
Do you have any data on last year's craft fair? How many were in from the community and how many were outside, by chance?
I do. I don't have it with me. Last year, the inside vendors were maybe 20, and the outside vendors were around 50.
Wow.
Those aren't exact numbers, but they're pretty close.
I think there was a question about, I think it was pickleball, wanted bake sale, private bake sales at the craft fair. And they were, was there?
No
were there-
one from pickleball has approached me about this year's craft fair whatsoever.
But
Last year, Pickleball and Cook Together split the bake sale. Apparently, the pickleball members contributed 4 items. Even though pickleball's contribution was so low, Cook Together still split the money in half. This year, Cook Together, as long as they're sponsoring it, they want to do the bake sale exclusively.
So you're saying that like the restaurant couldn't sell anything, or I think the restaurant sold sandwiches
The
too,
restaurant
right?
did, but in lieu of you having a problem with catering license, we opted not to have any food in the courtyard. No food sales like that. The only thing that would be food would be the bake sale, and that's covered by the cottage industry.
Right. Okay, I didn't see that in the proposal. That's why I asked the question.
I think Diane had her hand raised very aggressively back there.
Yes, you're saying pickleball
Diane,
to the mic.
come to the microphone, please.
You're saying pickleball only donated 4 items, but you forget, this is a small community. Pickleball members are also members of Cook Together. So that's pretty arrogant for
Wait,
you to
wait,
say that.
hang on, hang on, hang on.
Easy, lady.
Just,
And with Cook Together sponsoring it, don't they have the privilege of saying, we want to have the bake sale? It would be the same thing if softball were having their dinner and pickleball said, well, and would come in to their pasta dinner and say, well, we're going to sell pulled pork sandwiches. That's the example that you gave, Jeff, when we sat down last month.
right, and that, so I don't have any issue with it being an exclusive event. The problem I have is ticket sales to the outside for the purpose of generating a profit for the Cook Together group. I got to double check, and we're probably going to have to get legal opinion on this, because it sounds like that's way outside the bounds of what clubs are intended for. They're not meant to be profit centers.
Well, don't that money go back to the HOA
No, they want to keep it themselves.
and use it to do what?
I don't know,
Whatever they want.
To replace
whatever they
some
want to
of
do
the-
with it.
To replace some of the kitchen equipment. that's
So
not
everything's
operating.
spent back into the development.
Oh.
It's not like they're gonna go outside and spend money to go on a trip, anything like that.
No, we're not going to any baseball games or taking any cruises.
Right.
No.
So,
Jeff, I think we're in a situation here, we're piecemealing all of these things.
Right.
Probably, it would be appropriate to call a timeout and just review and amend, or whatever you have to do with the policies of exactly what the situations are, or what's approved or not approved for any kind of a group or committee, and issue it, and then everybody plays by the same rules
Right.
once that's been vetted and issued.
The one
Because
thing,
you got this one, that one, they're all over the place. It's probably time to say, what are the appropriate rules and conditions for people to have varying functions, food, non-food, selling tickets, the like, and get that in place and have it apply to everybody, and you're done.
If
the one thing with
if this were the
situation-
social committee, would it be an issue?
No, because all the money would flow through the HOA.
So it could be, what if it's someone else, like the quilters or someone wants to do it? It's the same, anything applies other than social committee. Your concern is other than social committee, any other groups, anyone in here making money off of
The social committee is part of the HOA.
Yeah.
The clubs are that. They're social clubs. They're well, they're not.
No, they're not.
Not chartered.
They're not chartered. And that's one of the, I've had some conversations with First Service Corporate with Graham Shanks about this. And he said, our policy, we have a club and activity group policy that's kind of some real basic groundwork. But he says it needs a lot more information and details than what we currently have. And he's offered to help out. And in fact, he's said we can have like a town hall meeting and have all the clubs come in and he can talk to all the clubs. And, you know, they recommend a true chartered club and have, this is, as a chartered club, these are the benefits you get being a chartered club, but these are also the responsibilities you have as a chartered club. And I think that's.
Bill has a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the one thing with this situation is, this has been brought up at least 3 either meetings or workshops, and a hurdle is put in there, and they've worked very hard to get over that hurdle, to come present, to have another hurdle put in front of them. So I think the idea of just lay it out, what exactly do they need to do, and we do it and put it to rest,
So
one way or another.
before we go to actually, because it's going to take a while to move all of the clubs into a chartered situation the way it should be, would it not make sense if the Cook Together opened a special GL account or an account with the bank and put that money with the association into that, where the association is holding the money for them, and then they would need approval as to what they're going to use it for?
I don't think that's their intent.
No, they're not, no.
That would not work? Okay.
That's not their intent.
Okay.
This event's not until the 11th. Is that correct?
What's
No-
that?
November,
What's the date of the event?
November 7th.
That's what I said.
But when I spoke to you last time, Jeff, you said that there would not be enough time to get Cook Together chartered, and in the meantime, we could have the craft fair.
That was part of the conversation, yes, as long as we were in compliant with our governing documents, was the other portion of that.
We're paying taxes on the table rental. We're providing umbrella insurance for the event. I've provided maps with 6-foot aisles down the middle, 3-foot clear. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to do.
Well, I'm not sure, you know, the social committee, we had this conversation before, and we said if the social committee's concern was their charter said events exclusive to Summer Glen residents, we can look at to see if the board wanted to amend the charter to say primarily for Summer Glen residents or something along that line. But it sounds like, no, social committee wasn't interested at all. The craft fair's just gotten too big, and they don't want to be involved anymore.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay, so if the Cook Together group wants to volunteer their time and fill in the void, social committee can still volunteer to sponsor it, but then the Cook Together members end up doing all the work.
Exactly.
Well, and then the
That's
money
not-
flows through the HOA and there's no issue.
No, that apparently that's a non-starter.
No, I know. They want to make a profit. I get it.
Maybe
And
we should
spend
hear
it
from
the
our
way they
resident
wanna spend
attorney.
it.
And that's the part I don't understand. Why do they feel they need to make a profit to invest in whatever? What is it you want to get?
Teresa? Teresa is the chairman of Cook Together. Gotta get to the mic.
You need to be at the mic so we can broadcast, please.
We know, Carol. Jeez. Here you go.
All right, thank you. This, the verbiage that you're using, we're selling tickets. We're not selling tickets. Okay, so, I mean, really, let's, you guys are nitpicking, so then I'm gonna come back and nitpick too. We're not selling tickets to anyone to come onto the property. It's just for the vendors and the tables. That would be if we had the vendors here from Summer Glen or from the outside. No matter what, they all have to, rent a table and sign the back to say that they will not hold us accountable if anything happens to them when they're on property. I didn't realize that we were still discussing this because I already pulled the trigger on the insurance and I already purchased it. So I'll cancel the insurance and you have our TIN number for us to pay taxes. So now I'm just gonna put it back to you guys. If you want another group to do it, great, yes. I mean, we didn't want to take over and control anything. We were asked, I'm on the social committee as well. I know what they were talking about with the charter. So I mean that, if you want to change the charter now, then that's up to you. But the way the charter is, it's only for Summer Glen events for the social committee to take care of. So this is off-site as well. We have other people coming in. And that's been, 2 years now? 3 years? We just moved here. So I don't have all the background, I don't have all that stuff. But, if you ask me to do a task, I do it. And I do it to the best of my ability, and I make sure that every single thing is taken care of. Now, whether we're talking about the craft fair or the fashion show, same thing. I talked directly to the insurance company. I have that ready to go, but I did not pull the trigger on that because of this, because I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. And if you want, somebody else to do the cooking, great. We'll back out.
Teresa, what is the intent for the funds? I mean, it's not gonna be exterior, it's gonna be used interior in the community.
Right, exactly. I haven't even really thought about that because why would I at this point? Because we don't know if we're even gonna be able to host, that's what I'm gonna call it, Cook Together would host the fashion show. And, we're happy to do it. We have everything
All right,
lined up.
We've spent enough time on this topic, so
Okay.
let's get,
Great.
we'll have Toby take a look at our
Thank you,
governing
Teresa.
documents, see if
Thank you,
anything
Jerry.
is in there that would prevent them from doing this.
I'm happy to run it by Graham as well, just kind of the bullet points about the RSO
Yeah.
kitchen issue, selling vendor tables.
We got a lot of things on the agenda. We spent enough time on this topic.
We should save it for the
I
end.
agree with that.
What's that?
Why, I agree that you spent enough time on this topic. Why doesn't this club just agree to assign whatever profit or funds they make to the HOA for use by themselves? A simple agreement.
Let's move on.
That's what I'm trying to do.
One last suggestion, Jeff. If the concern of the social committee is the charter situation, I think it would be very easy for the board to vote a waiver for this specific event that the charter, the social committee can in fact handle it within the realm of their charter. Just give them a one-time waiver for this event, and if they want to get back, it'll get it back under the social committee umbrella, and that would presumably resolve.
Well, but Bill, they don't have the people. That's the
They don't
social
wanna do
committee,
it.
don't have the people that are able to volunteer the time.
So if there's some overlap between the two committees, you got Cook Together people that are also social committee members. So I understand.
Right.
Again, I'm not going down the path again. I'm trying to cut off conversation here. One more, and then we're done.
Thomas Bausman, 270. You're asking a series of legal questions.
Can't hear you.
You're asking a series of legal questions. You've gotten multiple lay opinions. They don't mean anything. Even the opinion of the board right now doesn't mean anything. You need to draft a series of questions specific to this event and other events, present them to your attorney, and get a response in writing so that you can then go about drafting what the regulations are and how you're going to go about doing it. Because, as you said, you've spent 20 minutes on this going in circles, lay opinions, and nobody knows what's going on. And nobody can know what's going on the way it's being presented.
Tom, explain your credentials.
No, we've already said that that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to our legal counsel and get this resolved.
I'm an attorney admitted in New York, Michigan, Florida, and many international jurisdictions.
Okay. Moving on.
Okay.
Next up, we have our covenant rule and enforcement policy draft. This is a complete rewrite of the current policy, so we don't have a marked up version because it's, like I said, it's a complete rewrite. So this is the new document. This was distributed to the board members several weeks ago. We said we'd put it on a board agenda or a board workshop agenda first, make sure the board was comfortable with everything that was in there. Then we'd send it to legal counsel for final review to make sure it's in compliance with all Florida statutes, and then put it on a board meeting agenda for approval. So with that, is there anything in here that anybody has any questions concerning the rewrite of this policy?
We did get some questions via email, and I did distribute those to you. A gentleman, one of our owners, had questions. I don't know if you want to address those or if you want me just to address him directly back.
Is the resident here to speak?
I don't believe so.
No.
Okay, then, no, not going to be part of it then.
Okay.
My only comment was covenant enforcement community, page 17 at the bottom, or committee, excuse me, covenant enforcement committee. Who's on that committee?
Last year's board asked for volunteers, and we did have volunteers. Since then, at least one, if not more, two have resigned because of not having a written policy as far as what they're supposed to be doing, what their level of involvement is. It dragged on so long, they said, hey, I'm just going to resign from the committee. So I think once we get this approved, then we should put out a call for new committee members. If the individuals that volunteered before want to volunteer again, absolutely, that'd be great. If not, then hopefully we can get other people to volunteer to serve on this committee.
But presently, nobody.
Presently, there's two, right?
I'm still on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we still have three people. People.
Yeah, I think we had 5.
Yeah, that's right.
We
It was
had
total
five,
five, right?
We have 3 left, and 2, for various reasons, have said, no, we're stepping down. So we can still, put it out to those 3 and say, if you're still interested, we'd love to have you, and then call and see if we can get some more. I think the important thing, though, is that these committee people cannot have any other committee obligations, and they cannot be related to anyone on the board. So those are 2 very, very specific
They
qualifications.
can have other committees.
Well, they can be on a committee, but they can't be like conflicting committees.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all clearly defined in 720 as far as who is eligible to serve on that and who's not eligible. Okay, so hearing no other comments, so let's get this to Toby, have him do a review so we can have this on the board agenda for June and final vote on it, and then we'll reconstitute that committee to get back up to a 5-member committee. Okay, next up is Item 6D, which is the CRF for paver replacement at the front gatehouse. So in here, we have the packet and recommendation from F&G. We have two different quotes, one from Ocala Pavers and one from Paradise Pavers and Coping.
Jeff, these are just closest to the gatehouse.
Yeah,
The
so
ones way
there's
out.
actually two areas. So you have the gatehouse itself, both the inbound and outbound lanes at the gatehouse itself, and then a little bit further out towards 20th Avenue, there's another section of pavers, both on the inbound and outbound side. This is only for at the gatehouse location.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, so I had sent some notes to Diane for F&G to respond back to. One of the things I see that both vendors are quoting 60 millimeter thick pavers, and the question I had was about the thickness, as far as everything I was seeing online for anything that's needed to stand up to any kind of substantial weight. Residential roadways with occasional heavy-duty delivery vehicles, fire trucks, garbage trucks, et cetera, the recommendation is for 80 millimeters, not 60 millimeters. So the question I have is, was there any discussion with either of the vendors about the thickness of the pavers?
And what is there now, 60? Don't know?
I don't know. I had asked Carlos, he's the lead on this, and I sent Jeff's email to him, and I asked him to respond, and I've gotten nothing. These are professionals that we've had come in. They've come in a couple times. We've gotten quotes. I don't know about the thickness. I read Jeff's, I had nothing to say to you. That's why I didn't
No,
respond.
I understand. So I wasn't sure if Carlos had a chance to do anything with it.
I have no idea. He's gone dark on me, so I don't know what's going on.
I do believe they've quoted to replace what we already have, which is
Exactly.
60.
I think
And
so.
that could be the problem why we have the sinking.
Well-
Yeah.
Is it actually the pavers that are giving up, or is it the underneath that's giving up?
Pavers, they're sinking.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, well,
it's the base layer.
Well, they're
base.
sinking,
It's
but
under-
they're sinking because the base isn't solid.
Well, the base, we're in Florida, so when you have big trucks and things coming through, that always, you're gonna have some shrinkage and some depth, some dipping going on there. But when this was quoted out, it was to replace what was already there.
Right.
So if they didn't quote us 80, we did not know the 80 requirement.
We suspect or we know for a fact
I
what the
know
thickness of the pavers are.
That's what I asked for. So I don't know, we'll have to call back and make sure, but they were there to replace what is there. Now, we can upgrade that to 80 and then get a cost for that, if that's what you recommend, so we can do that in between, but that's, and that could be the deal for the reason that they've gotten the way they have is because they're not as thick as they should be.
Well, typically, it would be cracking. You'd see a lot of cracking. But
I don't think that's
again.
the case, yeah.
So, again, I just,
The sinking.
the series of questions I had is, number one, what is the current thickness of the pavers we have?
Probably 60.
We think.
We said to replace what we had, and so they went out there and they looked at what we had, and that's what they quoted, to replace what we had. So now I haven't physically measured it, but I said,
Okay. As long as somebody has, I don't mean you have to, but as long as somebody's verified what we have out there, then the question is, why was 60 used, whatever 80 is what's recommended? And then I'll read through the list of questions I had. Did any of the contractors discuss using 80 millimeter thick pavers for the front entrance, as opposed to the 60, which is the 60 millimeter thick pavers are typically for walkways, patios, and residential driveway projects? Did any of the contractors provide any details on what, if any, prep work would be done to remediate the roadway base before laying the new pavers? I didn't see anything in there on that. Did the contractors discuss the laying pattern for the pavers? It appears that the herringbone pattern is the preferred pattern to provide the best interlocking of the pavers. Did they talk about the pattern they're planning on laying? And finally, I said, we will need to confirm with Marion County Building Safety Department as to whether or not a permit is needed for replacement of the existing pavers with new pavers. This is a gray area based on any remedial work that may be done to the base roadway and the square footage involved. So has anybody talked to Marion County Building Safety?
I know that Carlos has talked to a couple of, again,
I know you can't.
I can't because I don't, this is not my ballywhack. I don't know anything about pavers, and I'd asked him. I know he has talked to a couple at the county, and it's in my recommendation that we're replacing the same, so there should be no problem. There's no need for a permit. So again, I really wish he would have come and helped me on this. And Rick Vetter before was working on this. I've had more people working on this. And I just...
So I think, pavers are the right way to go. I mean, Dan,
Yes,
I know
they
you had a
are.
question about asphalt,
Right. Yep.
but that's going to sink much quicker than any pavers will because of
Okay.
the heavy vehicles that are coming there,
Well, when
stopping at the
we
gatehouse.
also need to do a permit with Marion County. If you change
If you-
what's there,
Right.
then you have to get a
Well, Bill
permit.
brought up a very good point, because they'll let the water go through, the pavement would not.
Well, yeah,
So,
exactly,
yeah, I
impervious
under-
surface,
I
yes.
understand that.
Tony was also involved with this type of bidding, and so I'll clarify all these items with him. I think he's going to be here to talk about the vehicle replacement, so maybe we can clarify with him if that was addressed.
But again, I think, pavers are the right way to go. Let's just make sure we do it correctly this time. I'm not saying it wasn't done correctly the first time, but when we have it redone, let's make sure it's done correctly.
Yeah, I'll get with Carlos. I'll have to call him.
There's two things I want you to look at, if possible. First, you look and see if any of the pavers are cracked. That tells you the pavers aren't satisfactory. If they're 60 compared to 80 and they're holding up, the problem is the underneath. That has to be
Exactly, and
packed
I believe
and
that's the
solid.
problem. Yeah, I believe
Because if
that
you
is
don't
the
have a solid base, it doesn't matter what the brick is.
Right,
So that's my point.
right, and you drive over it, and you're going over it.
Correct.
It's not
So
solid.
it's the base
Yeah.
that is the problem, not the bricks. Thank you.
I believe so. But I will see what I can do. I'm sorry. I don't have the
Not a
information.
problem.
So, Dan, piggybacking on that, you're right, they're sinking in a few spots. If they're not broken, can a repair be done
Well, they have to
versus
be
a
cleaned and
replacement?
everything like that.
Huh?
They would have to be cleaned and everything before you.
Well,
put-
they'd have to pull them up,
Yeah.
obviously.
And they gotta pull them up anyway.
But would it save you the price of material?
Well, it possibly could if all the bricks
don't
are
know.
fine. I mean,
I don't know.
that's,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, we tend to want to replace everything
that's-
versus repair.
well, that's,
They'd have to be looked at, the pavers. I don't know about wear and tear. I mean, they've been there for
I
quite a
know
while.
there's really stained
Well-
at the main entrance.
Yeah,
of it.
there is some staining there,
Yeah.
but
They're really
was there any
stained there.
discussion with any of the contractors that you're aware of as far as what their thoughts were on
Yeah.
repurposing?
I'm sorry, no.
Okay.
I was not involved.
Okay.
That's why I have people.
Any, I don't know if it's even possible with pavers like it is with, concrete, but mud jacking, was that even an option where they go underneath and fill in and it?
I don't think they can, honestly.
I don't know if it's possible with pavers. And I
No,
wasn't
Can I
sure if
add-
that
They're
came up.
individual.
when,
Yes.
when they come out, could you give me a call? I'd
Yeah.
like to get involved. I don't have anything else going on, if that's okay with,
That's fine, yeah.
is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I have some background with it, but
Okay,
let me jump on that and help you with that, please.
okay, very good, thank you.
Is that okay with you? Both of you? Is that okay?
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so more work to be done on that. Next up is roadway and parking lot emulsion treatment proposal. Russ, you want to?
Yeah, so I put together a kind of a one-page review, so we get these big proposals that are 25, 30 pages long. So if we can just walk through the projects on here, the project, so one of the things that they pointed out to us are the handicap posts, signage, striping, that we may need more, or that it may not be the correct, you know, they were making recommendations to make them two-sided, so you had more efficiency of parking. We did ask the question if, because we are a private community, if we even need to have, you know, do we have to go by local laws on it? And it didn't sound like we had to because we're private, we are just at our own judgment, I guess, as to where signage goes. So that was kind of my only comment on that one line item. It's $1,600. Do we need to do it? You know, do we just do it ourselves?
Well,
I don't know. You
that's
were
what
part of
happened.
that as well.
Yeah, when we did the parking lot paving and the restriping,
We restriped, yeah.
you know, we added some handicap spaces at that time. And at that time, they gave us a quote to do the signage. And it was decided, let's try to do that in-house ourselves to try to save some money. Well, it fell through the cracks and never got done. So it's now they're going to be back in the community again. They're saying, hey, you guys, you really do need to do this. You should have done it last time. You didn't get it done. We suggest you do it this time.
So that's broke out as a separate line item, you know, so we can decide if we want that. We have some asphalt repairs, and it's all part of this package. You can see there's 4 locations and 5 if we do a tree removal out here. We have a couple manhole areas that Murph and I have looked at the last couple of years. They were approved in 2025, but not completed. We also have some failed overlay or location and then a drain that's starting to settle in and will need to be repaired. So that's broke out as a line item. We have the pavement, the PDC treatment on phase 2, which is part of this. It's in this package outlined in, I think that's blue.
Yeah,
blue or
it's
purple.
basically everything north of the main boulevard.
Correct. Everything north of the main boulevard for the $127,000. We also, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've ever done PDC treatment in the RV park and the softball lots.
Never did anything.
Never did anything.
Have not.
We're starting to get to a point where those really need some attention, because if we don't do something there, the maintenance area is already too far gone. That's going to need a mill and replacement. At this point, that's what they're recommending. So I have a PDC treatment for the RV lot, the softball lot, and a newspaper lot. And of course, this is summer, coming up on summertime. This is a good time of the year to do it. A lot of the RVs are gone, the boats are gone. Less traffic in the community. And we did have, what did I do with my note? We do have money in the reserves, right?
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
Where
we're
did I put my note?
Yeah, I have some notes for the everything north of the main boulevard. There's 142,000 in the reserve against the 127 that they're estimating. The RV parking lot and softball lot combined is a total of 35,000. So there's a little bit less. I mean, they're coming in at what, 32 plus 7. So it's coming in around 39. We have 35 was estimated in the reserve. And then the newspaper lot was actually considered as part of the main boulevard, but it didn't get done at the same time the main boulevard was done.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, it never got done that year we did it. So, part of that is when they can package these together, obviously, and do multiple locations. The phase 2 is going to take everything north of the boulevard. If we decide to take that route, that's going to take some planning. The other areas, we can block them off, for a few days. And the RV park will take a little coordination, because we'll probably have to open that back gate and allow people to park in that grass field temporarily, so we can get that down. But in my estimation, I'm thinking we need to do these asphalt repairs, which is item 2. we better address that RV lot and the softball lot and the newspaper lot before we get too far along, and we can't, we'll have to do a repair, which is much more costly. Those areas don't see nearly the traffic that the rest of the community does, so by doing this PDC, I think we'll really extend the life of all that area.
We really need to do all of this, Russ.
Yeah,
Entire list.
phase 2 is it's
And,
gonna be
and the RV lot's gonna be the biggest issue of getting stuff moved.
the coordination of that is gonna be,
We're gonna be hiring a tow truck.
Yeah.
We are.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but if necessary, we will have to do that, because all the RVs are going to have to be out of the lot whenever that work is done.
And right, and you have a bunch of, quote, storage trailers in there, and those people might not even be here now, this time of year. So it's.
Well, I think a notice should be going out now, giving them a heads up approximately what time. Just give them a heads up
Yeah,
that
we
it's going to
need
be taken care of.
Right.
We're going to
this is a
vote on
heads
this
up to
in
the
June.
community if anyone's watching.
Do you
Well,
have a timeline, Russ, for this?
July, the end of June.
No,
or
not
July?
yet. We're probably, thinking end of July into August, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think that's when we've done it in the past, Murph? July, August.
Yeah, I think you're going to try to get July because,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to be done there.
There's a lot to be done.
So, and the RV lot's the biggest issue, yeah. We need to get that
Russ,
out
ASAP. These prices are current prices based on today's cost.
Correct, correct.
Bring up a point that someone made earlier about
Yeah, I think,
cost
did
of
Connie
petroleum and all the rest of it.
comment that wasn't an issue? Did she
Yes,
say?
she did say it was issue.
Well-
She said that.
Yeah.
What?
Obviously, anything hydrocarbon related is affected, but this is an updated quote.
Yeah.
So it reflects current pricing. She said, depending on what happens with the global oil market, it may affect availability as well as pricing. So we do need to move on this quickly.
So Jeff, due to security, we talk about moving stuff out of the RV lot. A couple of things pop in my head about security. First of all, and obviously stuff is locked up, but I'm okay with it. Would the board be okay if people have a small enclosed trailer, if they park it in their driveway?
Not a-
We've got to make some.
Yeah, we can make some short-term exceptions.
We got to make some short-term exceptions for people who are worried about security, as far as, because now if the stuff's outside the fenced-in area, people are going to be nervous about their stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll even go so far as I know the high school has a solar rented, I assume it's a solar rented camera that's set up. You'll see it if you go out the back gate. You
Okay.
see the blue light flashing? Those are security cameras that apparently are on a trailer that are temporary. I have
Okay.
no idea what that costs, but if we're setting something up in the grass, do we need to think about something temporary for 2 weeks, a month, whatever? I have no idea what that costs. Maybe we could borrow from the school.
They're not expensive.
No, we have the capability of doing that. We talked to Russ earlier in the year, and he helped us with some extra
Yeah.
cameras that we can set up.
Okay, so those are the types of things our community's gonna need to know, that their stuff will be secure. We have to be flexible here.
Yeah. So, we're not going to vote today, but I think there's pretty much a consensus which direction we're going to go with this. So we need to just start having a conversation with Connie as far as locking in some dates.
Yeah.
With the assumption that
I'll
the
do
board's
that.
going to
I just
approve this
made
in June.
myself a note, so.
When we do the RV park, I talked to Connie about it. Those changing them locks, everybody has keys to them, correct? If you have an RV in there, you have a key to get in.
Yes.
and
Yes,
out.
correct.
She said you would want to put new chains on the locks on them, because this way nobody's going to come and go while they're doing the work.
Oh, just on a temporary
Just on a
basis?
temporary
Yeah,
basis.
okay, yeah.
They put their lock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
Okay.
drive on my stuff.
yeah. It'll be blocked off where the baseball field goes in
Yeah.
anyway, but
Right.
just in case.
Now, one of the things I did notice, Russ, I don't know if you had this conversation, in their quote for the, doing the Phase 2 roadways, obviously, there's When it's fresh, there's a possibility of tracking that onto the driveways.
Correct.
So in the quote, it says
Sand.
a recommended option of sanding the driveways after what they call the shoot, after they do the PDC, that'll be a cost of $25 per driveway.
I didn't put that in here because I don't know, we don't know that number, right? I don't.
Well, last time we did
But
that,
that's-
we brought sand in and just had everybody help themselves.
That's correct. That $25, I believe, is if they do it.
If they do it, yes.
If they do it. So, like you said,
I
we
thought,
did
yeah, I
it.
thought we just, that homeowners did their own. last
That's
time.
correct.
Yeah,
That's
we,
what we
we
did.
brought
Some
in
people actually
sand.
put down tarps. I've seen people put down
Yeah.
tarps.
They got the sand when they
Some
needed
people
it,
just
put it
roped
on
it
there.
off.
Yep, exactly.
Some people roped it off, some people
Yep.
put sand on it.
I can't imagine a couple loads of dirt or sand isn't gonna.
It worked
that
out pretty
much.
good. Every year we did it, we had one or two problems. I try to say, well, I didn't do it, but it's tracked.
Gentlemen, can you?
It's tracked right to his driveway.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the sand thing. I'm sure there's somebody else, maybe somebody else out there that's not. What is the sand for and why would we need
So
it?
you put,
As you drive along the roads, it gets on your tires. So as you turn into your driveway, the first couple of revolutions of your tire onto the driveway could transfer some of the tackiness that was on the roadway onto your driveway. So the sand, you sand that first part of your driveway to absorb that.
Excellent.
Then you just
Especially if
blow it
your
off.
driveway is painted or,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah,
tile or.
But, you know, we've gone through this before. We did it
So we know.
throughout the entire community in the past. When we did the north side of the main boulevard, we brought in sand. Residents can sand their own. Did the same thing when we did the south side.
Excellent. Okay, so we just let everyone know when it happens, this is what you need to do, and they can go get their own sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Russ, is this everybody has to do it? Or if some people say, you know, I really don't want to mess around with doing this myself,
I
they
think
want to
that's
pay
just an
PDC,
That's just an offering that they're offering.
but were they willing to do it if 5 homes on a street want to do it, but not the other 20?
That's right.
I guess I'm assuming that.
I would imagine each one of them would pay the $25 matter if it's one, skip 3.
But
do
I think that's a question we need to ask Connie.
Yeah.
Does this have to be an all or nothing, or can individuals make arrangements to have their driveway sanded by PDC?
And the last piece,
By,
is-
or
the
ARS?
last piece of that puzzle is how do you clean up the sand so that it's not
You just
washed
blow it
into our
off.
storm sewers?
You just blow it off onto your lawn.
Oh, okay.
Blow it right off onto your
All
lawn.
right. That makes
Do
sense.
do we really want to open the can of worms of having them do it? Why don't we just do what we did in the past? We'll supply the sand. If you want to put it on there, you put it on there.
Well, there may be some people that may not
Being able to do it.
being able to do it on their own.
Right.
I just want to, if
Yeah, I'll-
that's a
I'll ask
service that
Connie that
Connie's willing to
question.
provide on a case-by-case basis rather than an all or nothing basis.
And we are going to need quite a few volunteers for that. It'll probably go close to 2 weeks. So we're going to need quite a few volunteers. So please step up and help us. That's a big job.
Well, yeah, for directing traffic.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
In the past, you got really good cooperation with
Yes, we
volunteers,
did.
didn't you, Dan?
yep. Yeah, it worked out real well.
I want to whistle if I'm going to direct traffic.
No problem.
No whistle for you. We'll get you one of those loud mics.
Okay, any other discussion on the PDC treatment? No? Okay, let's move on to CRF 2026-0003, replacement of maintenance vehicles. So I think what was in the packet was a previous version. I think Marie's given the board a new packet of information concerning the maintenance vehicles.
Yes, I made a mistake. The information sent in the packet was not the latest version of the recommendation. I will send out the new packet to all of the owners so you can have the backup documentation. And I gave, by the time I fixed this thing that I messed up on, it was too late to get it out to all of the members, but I will get it out to you. So the board has the correct packet. One thing that you'll see that is not mentioned, the packet recommends Toro Workman, Kubota RTV, and the John Deere Gator. The manager of the maintenance manager of the association has provided another option that he feels would really work, and that's at the very, very end. And it meets all of the requirements of what he needs, and the price is very, very favorable. So he would like consideration for that as well.
Okay, so if you want to start with the spreadsheet page that it says current utility vehicle specs. So this is just kind of our starting point. This is what we currently have. So there's 2 Toro units. They are not identical. They are actually fairly different. They look very similar, but one has a much higher towing capacity. So one's a Toro Model 3200 and the other one's a Toro HDX. The HDX is the much heavier duty model. It's the one, if I'm correct, it's the only one that can tow our big pressure washing trailer. The smaller Gators can't handle it, and the smaller Toro can't handle it either. So that's kind of one. We don't have to have all the vehicles that can have that capability. We only have one now, so that we need to make sure one vehicle has that ability to pull that pressure washing trailer around with all the water and chemicals and everything.
Correct.
There's one other thing to note. Cypress is very interested in these 4 vehicles, and they've offered an $11,000 buyout for these vehicles. So that's something that might be, we could consider going into what we're buying and so forth. But we would have to work out some kind of deal with them. But they value it at $11,000. I still have to send it out to one of our reps to verify that number, to make sure that we're in the correct ballpark, as per Jeff's request. But just wanted to let you know.
It's good. It's good avenue.
Okay, so do we want to have Tony come up and speak to this?
So one of the things that was the biggest concern was the towing capacity of each one of these, and then the fact that they really, really can use or want to be able to use for making their work easier, a longer bed on the actual vehicle, because then it allows them to, pack up things and take it with them and not make so many trips back to the annex and so forth. So you'll note, I've noted the towing capacities on these. And Tony, what did you tell me you needed as a towing capacity?
We need at least 2,500.
At least 2,500.
Tony, talking to the mic.
At least 2,500.
Okay, so what was in the original packet was those 3 options you talked about, and then we've added a 4th now. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Tony is really requesting that the board consider the 4th. When we were trying to figure out how to buy a vehicle that had all of the requirements that they need to work, this at the end is the one vehicle that had everything, and it does have the towing capacity as well. So you can see that when we looked at the Toro, the first Toro in line had a 3,500 capacity. And then when you looked at the Kubota that's mentioned, the Kubota, I believe,
1,300.
there has a 1,300 capacity, so it doesn't meet the towing capacity. And then as you get down further, we had the John Deeres that were mentioned, and the John Deeres, I'm not sure, did you say the John Deeres had the capacity or not?
They do not, and they also have the tiny little bed.
And they have the tiny beds. So then that last option you can see was for a Spartan Intimidator 3, and basically that vehicle has everything that was on their wish list and more. So they wanted windshields, they wanted doors, they wanted safety, they wanted,
And the Spartan has more favorable price.
well, yes. And so the Spartan is definitely at a more favorable price. And so that's why he wanted to bring that up. And then I provided you a picture of the Spartan so you could see it. So the other ones, yes, they may meet towing, but then they may not have the bed. But this last one here is the Spartan, and it meets all the requirements. So just wanted to give you those options, and I asked Tony to be here because he's the guy that actually uses them or assigns them to somebody in his crew to use them. And one of the disadvantages is carrying a toolbox and carrying all the stuff. They pick up all of the doggy things, and when you look at the back end of their vehicles now, they end up having to make multiple trips instead of being able to carry everything together. And it's not good to leave stuff out places while they're going back and forth. You know, things can disappear and so forth. So that was one of their main requirements, was that the bed be bigger.
The Spartan is gas, not diesel?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then I'm looking at the quote. This is, this 33,000 is actually for 2 units?
Yeah, that quote has a bigger one and a smaller one. So one's 1,000
Right.
cc and the other one I believe is a 750. We'd want to get two of the 1,000 cc's.
Yeah, you'd
That's
want-
just what he sent me for a quote.
Keep them both the same.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the 1,000 cc one is the 2,500
Yes,
towing
sir.
capacity?
Yes, sir.
And that, there's 3,000 more, so it'd be closer to 36.
Yeah, 36, 37, yeah.
Tony, on the beds for this Spartan, it's a fixed bed, it's not a dump bed?
Oh, it's a dump bed.
It is a dump bed?
Yes, sir.
They manual or electric?
Electric.
And how long a bed is it?
6 foot.
It was, because I don't think I see.
Yeah, the Toro, the Spartan, and the Kubota are the only ones that make with the big bed, and the Kubota's out because it can't tow anything, and it's diesel. So the Toro's gas and the Spartan's gas. The Toro has a Kubota gas motor in it, and the Spartan has a Kohler motor in it.
So one of the things we can do, because believe me, I have received so much paperwork on this. Part of the reason why the mistake was made is because I was trying to find the latest thing and finally found it. If this is something that we really want to consider, then we can go back to Central Florida Equipment and get the very, very, very detailed information about this particular unit, and then bring it to you with the warranty and all the stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I mean, the Spartan brand, who makes it? I mean, is the long-term serviceability of it going to be there?
Yes, there is.
I mean, you know, Toro's been around for a long time.
Right. Well, Spartan, I believe, is owned by Toro.
Okay.
So it gets a little confusing there, but.
All right.
So certain Toro dealers can sell it and certain ones can't. But there is a dealer right here in Ocala that can sell them, that I was dealing with.
Maybe we get a quantity discount for 2.
I doubt it.
Have we checked with Cypress
Maybe the price will go up.
Yes.
at all?
We have
We
checked. We have checked with all of our landscaping companies.
Okay.
And of course, they use, different equipment, but none of their dealers, I mean, we're buying 2. It wasn't like they could give us a huge discount on 2. So there wasn't any advantage. They did not provide any advantage to us whatsoever.
Thank you.
Yep. The only thing we have is that, again, like I said, if we're not using the other vehicles, it's going to be your decision, but if you're not using all of the other vehicles, how many vehicles do you normally use on a daily basis, on a monthly basis?
2 of them. The 2 Toros. Those are used every day, all day long.
Every day, all day. And I
The
know,
the Gators are never used.
no, and the sick, I know you want the bigger bed and you need the tow, so these look like they fit what you need,
Yes, sir.
finally.
So Tony,
At a good price.
you're going to buy 2 new ones, right?
Yes,
We're
sir.
not going to keep any of the other ones we have.
I don't
So
see
we'll only
it. I
have
don't see a
2.
need for it. They're
So
just a
whatever the
machine
pr-
sitting around.
Whatever the price of the 2 is total, less the money that we get for the trade-ins for the other ones.
That's correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
But of course, that is a board decision to cut back on the number of vehicles. So when you would have to make a decision on that as well.
Intimidator is owned by Toro.
Yes.
Yeah.
They acquired them. Yeah.
Okay, so these are new units. Are
Yes,
they last year's model year or leftovers, or what are these?
No, these would be new units this year.
Okay.
And it says they're in stock now?
I believe so.
And so simple math, it's,
I mean, it's been a good month and a half since I spoke with the salesman.
just simple math, I mean, if we get $11,000 for the pieces that we can move away, you're looking at $25,000, $200 or $300 for both units net.
Pretty good deal.
It's a pretty darn good deal.
Yeah.
They're good machines. I don't think they're going to last as long as the Toros that are the direct replacement, but I mean, they're a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I mean,
Toro.
they're $45,0and a piece, those Toros. That's a lot of money.
That's crazy.
It is, that's what they cost.
Buy a truck for that.
You can put a down payment on a house. I agree.
I could buy Kevin's truck for that.
Hey, hands off my truck.
Your truck.
So we'll have all those figures for us
Mine's high
in June
class.
meeting.
All right, so board, you want me
Don't
to
scratch
get
it.
the details on the Intimidator?
Oh, we have to.
Well,
okay?
I'm just saying, is that something, it wasn't a recommendation, but I'm asking if you will consider the Intimidator, I will get all the details for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. 1,000 cc.
I'll work on it.
I think we're there.
Yes, ma'am.
And please get the quote updated to both, the same model that you discussed.
Yeah, I'll work on that today.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Thanks, Tony, for
Thanks,
all your
Tony.
hard work.
Okay, anything else on the maintenance vehicles? Okay, next up is the removal of the oak tree behind the RSO. Anybody want to speak to that?
Well, we do have some owners that have problems with removing a perfectly good tree. But the idea is that if you know and you've seen it, we have some need for extra parking right next to that door because that's the handicap door and the one that opens automatically. And so we have some folks that will actually park on the asphalt in front of the door where there's no parking spaces. And so we're constantly telling people, you know, you need to move over, you need to move over, but they're there because they need to be that close. So, you know, the recommendation is because we were already going to be doing asphalt, we asked the asphalt folks about what it would be, what it would cost to go ahead and pull it out, fix the asphalt, and then line up some extra parking areas. So the tree is in perfectly good health, and it's growing bigger and bigger every day. The asphalt is raised. It's not on the sidewalk, but it doesn't prevent that tree from ever going towards the sidewalk. So that could be an issue in the future if we leave it. So it's just a consideration, tripping hazard, that kind of thing, but mainly it would help get more parking spaces in that area.
The parking spaces,
That's
it's
not the
completely
driver.
secondary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, whether we get more parking spaces or not, really should have nothing
Trees
to do
back-
with it.
yeah.
It's, is the tree a problem that, to the extent that it needs to come down or not?
I think the tree's really destroying the blacktop.
It is.
I mean,
And the
that's-
concrete and the
And
walkway.
the
We've had to
concrete's
do it-
been repaired a couple of
We've
times.
had to repair it a few times. And it's
and-
heading toward the RSO, and if we don't
And all-
stop it,
And
we're
the
gonna have
roots are
issues.
exposed. If you happen to cut across there, you could trip. So, my opinion is the tree should come down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that the builder decided to put oak trees that close to buildings and
Yes.
parking lot areas and whatnot.
They look great the first 10 years.
No, they
But
do.
after that, it's-
Even now, I
it's
mean,
a
the
problem.
tree's a nice tree, but
Beautiful,
it is
I think
destroying the parking lot and it's
That tree
working
was
its
there
way
before
towards
they
the
built
building.
The building, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that tree was there before they built the building, though, and they left it.
Probably, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's an old tree.
There's another tree right in front of here, right in that corner.
Yep.
It's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
it is.
You're right.
So if you're
Well,
going to,
we have several, so I think the approach was to look at the one that was in the worst case, handle that first, and then move from there, because we have other trees that are doing, you know, the one back here that we've had to fix the sidewalk several times. We did trim the roots, so that they wouldn't go under the concrete anymore, and then, like you said, there's a few others in the community that need to be addressed, but we were just starting with this particular one because it's so visible and it's in a very high-traffic area.
Any other questions or comments concerning it?
Yes, not there, not there. Yes, obviously. But, you know, we have several, we already have a list of 5 trees that we've removed from the community that have to be replaced. The decision has to be made as to where those trees are gonna go. And that's something that's being considered now, and we're getting cost estimates for those.
I have a problem with a palm tree that was removed.
Yes, sir. That's one of them, yes.
Years ago and never replaced.
Palm trees years ago where? In the cul-de-sac? Oh, what? I'm not aware of.
We're streaming and this conversation cannot be heard.
I'm so sorry. If you could step up, we could have this conversation.
No, we don't.
No, you don't? Well, no worries. We will be replacing trees. That's something that is on our list.
Okay, move on to the next topic then. CRF 2026-0009, the Summer Glen Softball Association is requesting to put a ball stop net and post system up in the left field area of the softball field to protect cars and golf carts that may be parking in the parking lot out by that fence.
Jeff?
Yes.
You're a softball player. How far out is the fence?
250. 250 feet.
250. I was thinking.
Jeff hits it out every time.
No, I don't. We do have some guys that can put it out there on a regular basis, though. You know, we right now our top team is a Division II team, and when Division II teams come here to play, they're hitting home runs out all the time.
But the ball lands kind of in the turf area and then kind of rolls through the parking lot?
Well, no, I've seen them land in the parking lot.
I've seen them in the houses' backyards. So I just have two things, I guess. I had a question. This is being financed by SGSA? Did I read that? It is being financed. Well, that's the recommendation, okay. And then there was a note in here about removing the net at season's end. Why not just leave it up? Is there a reason it needs to be come down? I mean, because the softball field still gets used through, I mean, you guys are playing Fridays, you're playing Saturdays, pickup games.
Typically, the parking lot's empty, though. There's very few.
Yeah, there's fewer people.
And I would imagine just for the longevity of the net, not exposing it to the UV as much, by bringing it down during the summer months will extend the life of the net. So the way the system is designed, if I understand correctly, George, there's aluminum posts that are set down into the concrete, and then the actual posts that hold the net in place slip down into those sleeves. So it's just a matter of pulling the post out of the sleeve when it takes down at the end of the season.
Jeff, I think you did some research on the size of the concrete pad for each post.
Yeah, according to the website.
Substantial.
What's that?
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah, it is. That's our recommendation. So the recommendation from New World Sports is to have professional installation done, and the hole for the post should be 24 by 24 square, 39 inches deep. So about a half a yard of concrete would need to be poured on each of the 6 post holes to set them in place.
And there's no notation on this for permit cost. Is there going to be a permit because of the concrete? I don't know if we know that. Do you know that?
No, we do not. We assume there is not.
Okay. And then there was no notation about shipping of the materials. So, but I guess that's maybe $600 between the two.
Correct.
No, they have
$11.99.
shipping and tax $11.99, or yeah, $11.19.
I think it was in there.
Okay, shipping is in there on this piece. Okay. Wasn't on this one. All right. But it's in the total. All right, I got it. I missed that.
So I have this right here, Design Review Board from Judy. It is DRB's recommendation, and this is approved by the BOD. It is being financed by SGSA. said, I mean, it's right in our packet.
I
I'm
thought
confused
Tracy
by who's
said-
paying for this.
I thought Tracy said something out
She
about
did.
it as community improvement money.
Well,
I don't know where I read that.
I think George is here. The request from the softball
The
association is
original
for the,
request, as usual, to the softball association is to have
No,
the
I just
HOA
fooling around.
approve this.
I'm missing one of my pages.
It's a capital expense for the safety of the community. So we're looking to have this. If you remember, we came in with a proposal to have both sides done, both the right field and the left field. The left field is more of a safety issue. The right field is a property damage issue. So we've come back to you with the request, to reduce the request to make it the left field. But this would be another item that if you guys turn it down, we're gonna go back and look at doing it ourselves, but.
And this would be an item that, even if they did it themselves, it falls under the HOA then to maintain it in the future.
That is correct.
Because we voted on that last month.
so again, if this were to get approved, I mean, first thing, we shouldn't assume anything. We should contact Building Safety Department.
No doubt about that.
So, you know, it's a gray area, because if you're a residential property, I found something about flagpoles. Obviously, there's nothing about baseball nets or anything like that, but there is about flagpoles. So if you're a resident and you're installing a flagpole on your property, as long as it's 20 feet or less, you don't need to get a permit. However, this isn't residential property, it's HOA common area property, which is considered commercial property. So now it becomes a gray area is, okay, do we need a permit because it is commercial property? So that's one thing we need to verify. If we were to approve this, we need to verify that. And then, again, the question I had for the softball association, I know there's lots of guys that have a lot of experience, they have the capabilities, but this isn't a small project. I mean, each of these holes, you're gonna have to dig a 2-foot square hole, at least 39 inches deep, and pour half a yard of concrete in each hole.
We're well aware what this is gonna take
It's
to do.
kind of right at the edge of a do-it-yourself project.
Yes, we're all already talking about, we'd probably have to bring in we'd use Quickcrete, but we'd also bring in probably have to bring in rent a mixer. Because this would not be, it's too small to get a truckload of concrete in here, and any contractor would just rip us off. So we're trying to do this. We have the capability of doing this. This is not an issue. It's 7 posts, 7 sockets that have to go in the ground, basically.
That might be a full truck of concrete.
3.5 yards?
3.5.
That's not a lot much.
I think a typical truck is probably either 5 or 6 yards.
I think it's 9,
What?
typically. Standard truckload of concrete's 9.
9.
9. I thought it was. I thought it was way above 5.
I have a real problem even considering this project. It's been 20 years, again. No problems. All of a sudden, it's a problem. When that baseball field the softball field was built, there were young guys in here, 45, 50, 55, that were much stronger than the people that are playing today. And it's been 20 years, no liability, no accidents, no insurance claims. Why are we thinking about doing it now? What makes it so important now that it wasn't done 20 years ago?
Because we've had a couple of incidents recently.
Well, Georgie, that's
And
just
we
20
know-
years and we haven't had a problem.
All right,
You're
but
you're talking a lot of money here.
There's not been a lot of reported, there have been incidents in the past or near misses in the past that have not been reported. And we know we have an issue, we have a safety issue out there, and if you ignore it, and people know we ignored it and didn't do anything about it, that's another problem.
Well, you put a sign up there,
But-
park at your own risk.
There are signs there already, I believe.
Well, it's just getting so burdened on the HOA. Every year, we're just adding and adding and adding, and we're not adding any more houses. It's got to stop somewhere along the line.
It also.
And I'm believe me, I'm 100% for softball. I've been down there.
I know you are.
Many, many years.
Not a question.
But it's got to be a point that, if they park out there, they're parking at their own liability. They know that the risk is parking there. I just can't see, in my opinion.
It also seems to me foul balls are a bigger problem on the left field
Well,
side. Foul balls,
Well, yeah, but
where everybody parks their
Actually, we have
cars.
considered in the past to put up a canopy, but because of the growth of the live oak trees over there, it has not become a problem. We put netting up, we put netting up at our own expense a couple of years ago. You guys, some of you guys know that, obviously Jeff knows that. We put netting along, basically raised the fencing by putting netting up along.
Yeah,
there.
it protects you if you're
Snack
sitting
shack.
at the picnic table.
So you don't
Sarah.
get your line drives going
Line
into the
drive,
picnic
yeah.
table, but any fly balls that go over that netting, they get caught up and deflected, and the
Or they
speed
land
is-
on the golf cart.
The speed is reduced, or they hit a golf cart.
Yeah.
Beyond that, but we talked about putting, with some of these fly type canopies.
But
over
again, you're there at your own
picnic
risk.
area.
You park at your own risk.
Just
Dance
laying it
floor.
out there, this is what the project is, this is what we came in and requested, so.
Thank you.
This may be something we'll, if you guys do not approve this at the board meeting, then we'll.
well, even if you supply it, it's still gonna go back on the HOA. Even
for
if
ma-
you decide to put it.
For maintenance, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, it's like everything else that we've contributed up to that, and that's where.
And you've done a phenomenal job.
And that's where the money from our profits goes. It goes into improving the facility up there. and,
I know 100%. Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
All right, so I guess we'll have this on the board meeting agenda in June. As far as installation costs, you're saying softball association, if this was to be approved, you would absorb all installation costs for any materials and everything, renting of the mixer, if you're gonna rent a cement mixer, buying the bags of cement? Okay. Okay, moving on then is another softball association request, CRF 2026-0004, for replacement of the visitor dugout benches.
This is their recommendation, right?
Yeah, they have a couple of different
Yeah.
vendors proposed, just under $2,000 to replace the benches that are in the visitor dugout. So, George, can you give us a little background on what's in the visitor dugout now?
Well, what's in the visitors dugout now is one vinyl covered steel bench that was apparently the standard when Florida Leisure put together the community. It's the old green seating and backing, vinyl covered steel with tan legs. There's one of those in there. There's three in the home bench. One of those in the home is deteriorating. And then the other, the equivalent of two benches in the visitors dugout is wooden benches that the softball membership had originally built. Well, we put the dugouts in, we trashed the earlier ones, and we saved this one for posterity for the last couple of years and made it work. In fact, it has for a seat back, the seat backing off the bleacher set when we originally bought and contributed the bleacher set to the community. So it's a wooden bench. We came in with a request a couple of years ago to replace that. It was deemed by Facilities and Grounds and DRB, and we agreed that it was still serviceable. The wooden bench was still serviceable. All it needed probably was a touch of paint, some sanding, and a board replaced here or there. We did that, but now it's gotten beyond it. The wood's rotting and what have you. And the last thing we need is people getting splinters. You know, the old story about getting splinters on a wooden bench for ball players. But so it's a bench. It's basically two benches, 12 foot, almost 12 foot wide, and it's got one other of the old steel, vinyl covered steel benches, the green and tan benches. And the home dugout has three of those benches in it, one of which is in really bad shape in the home dugout. So our intent would probably be to buy three new ones, put those in the home dugout, and take the three best of the remaining old ones and put them in the visitors dugout and get rid of the wooden one.
Does do we have to have outside help to do this? Or is it done in-house?
Negative. We'd order the benches and we'd put them together. I mean, we've put together bleachers, we could put together a couple of benches.
Fantastic.
As you stated, the original, when the builder did this, it was the expanded metal benches with a vinyl coating on them.
Right.
That starts to crack over time and create sharp edges, and then it starts rusting. So we got rid of all the picnic tables that were like that and replaced them with the polywood picnic tables. We just recently replaced the benches over at the shuffleboard area with polywood. I see both of these that are recommended are those expanded metal benches with a plastic coating on them.
All right, let me speak to that. Much to my chagrin, a couple of years ago, we came in with the proposal. I personally went and looked to try and see if we could get the replacements, exact replacements to the ones that Florida Leisure put in. Can't find them. I don't know, manufacturer's gone away, I don't know what. So you got these expanded metal ones similar to the old picnic tables we got with the expanded mesh backing. That's what Randy specified in this proposal. I know you've had discussions, Jeff, with Denny about going to, which we didn't know, there was a standard now for going to the, like the Trek style polywood.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be, there's polywood, or you can go with the aluminum, just like the bleachers that are in the.
We have no issue, just as long as if we move, we'll move towards that. We have no problem doing that. If we redo this, we'll, whatever, if there's a standard in the community that we weren't aware of, we'll follow the standard. We just need 3 new benches. So 3 new 6-foot benches, that'll be fine.
Yeah, I would just suggest we look at other alternative construction rather than the expanded metal with the plastic coating on it, to either aluminum or the polywood, is see what the cost of those are.
And I'm good with that. Well, you know, the polywood's gonna be more expensive than what we quoted here. In fact, when I looked this morning, the Barco is actually now sitting cheaper. It's on sale cheaper than what Randy posted in there. So, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. But I know the polywood is a hell of a lot more expensive, but of course it's gonna last practically forever. So if there's a standard for benches, we'll go with the standard. I'm not, let's not.
No, the aluminum, just like the bleachers you have for not visitors, but for spectators.
Right,
You know, they make dugout benches at same type of material.
We could do that too.
So if you guys can
They last
explore that
forever.
also.
They last forever.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really a good bit.
The polywood, though, probably would have to be anchored, where these are kind of self-supporting, I believe. Because we've anchored all the polywood benches, have we not?
I don't think there's any need to anchor them.
But I almost think so they don't tip when you sit.
Can you
know.
provide-
I know what you're saying, but.
They're so damn heavy, they're not gonna.
Yeah, they are
No, the
extremely
metal
heavy.
wouldn't need to be anchored. I'm saying the polywood might need to be anchored.
Yeah, but they're heavier than metal ones that we do have. And the metal ones just have the T legs.
The T legs, yeah.
Can you provide those alternate estimates for me?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can look some up and get them back to you.
Jeff, they won't deteriorate as bad because they wouldn't get as much sun being in the dugouts as they did out when they sat out at the horseshoe pits.
Well, that's why I think the ones that we have, the green and tan ones that we do have lasted so long. One, they've been in
They
the
were out in
most
the
part
sun.
in the shade. Every year we clean them down, and we actually, a couple of years, we actually waxed them. So we tried to keep up the vinyl.
Yeah.
And touch them up with touch-up paint where they, so whatever you need, I'll get some alternatives
you.
back in there. Thank you.
Right. Okay, and then the last item on the agenda is the estimate for the camera update here in the Grand Hall. That's the camera that's straight back there over by the clock. It's a PTZ pan tilt zoom camera that's used for streaming all the board meetings and town halls and so on. It is at the end of its useful life. The servo motor that drives the pan tilt zoom is starting to crap out, and it just kind of wanders off in whatever direction it wants to point to at any given time. And Lisa is out there trying to get it adjusted in time for the meeting, so we're looking at us on the stage instead of the floor in front of us. So this is just this one camera at this point. There are other cameras in the community that we need to be looking at in the future, but this is just the one, and it is pretty critical for viewing the board meetings and town halls and so on. So just want to see if anybody had any questions on that.
To me, it looks like the quote is quite detailed, actually, and it has a notation in here that it would be configured with the wiring that was put in last year. New cabling installed in 2025, so I guess the cabling is there for it now, or in the close,
Yes, that's
close
correct.
proximity?
They
Yeah.
did a pre-run for that. Yeah.
Okay, got it, yeah.
No other, okay,
No.
so pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Okay, so that completes our agenda items. Go around the table, any director input? We'll start with you, Steve.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, this, I guess my first workshop being here on the board. I just want to make a notation that our next finance committee meeting will be on June 9th as opposed to June 8th, the second Monday of the month. And the reason that we're moving that is I think this hall is going to be used for a service for Tom that on the Monday, the 8th. So just making that aware now. I know Tracy's going to send out the information on that. Our April financial reports they're in. Darlene's still working on a couple of small things, but in general, they're in. And I think Tracy and the finance committee team have everything that they need at the moment. And been doing some work in the Avid system with Jeff. I do have a couple of invoices that I'd like to see. I saw John Stanek here earlier. I think he's still here. I want to ask you about one invoice after this, and then I've got something to talk to Brad about. But
Okay.
other than that, I think we're good.
Russ, anything?
Good.
No.
No.
thank-
Dan?
Good.
Good.
Bill, anything? No. Okay. So our next board meeting is on June 11th, and then tentatively scheduled board workshop for June 25th. So with that, I'll motion for an adjournment.
Make a motion that we adjourn?
A second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say no. Okay, meeting is adjourned, and now we'll open up the floor for homeowner comments.
Here they come.
John Stanek, Lot 13. I'd just like to talk about the lighting in the pool area. Right now, the pool lights come on about an hour and a half before dusk, and they stay on about an hour and a half after sunrise. So if you do the math, and I'm an engineer, but I do a little math, it comes out to about 3 hours a day times 30 days, that's 90 hours a month. You figure there's about 10 hours of darkness each day. That means we're lighting the pool an extra 9 nights a month. You extrapolate that out per year, and we're approaching 110 days extra that we're lighting the pool. Now, I get calls on a fairly regular basis to come and turn the lights on at night. So I have to come over here and trip the lights on. Russ has been here during the day when the lights come on. So we're using it during the day when we have sunlight. That doesn't account for the restaurant and the golf course. We used to have a very simple fix, which was the photocells. Photocells they're not affected much by power surges or lightning strikes or internet outages as the present system is. And the repair on a photocell is about $30 to $50. The repairs on this automation system are expensive. If you go online and you look at the reviews on this automation system, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, you won't hardly find a positive one. it's a home-based automation system that's been adapted for our community. And all of the reviews, if you break them down, say basically the four same things. It's an expensive system to put in. It's unreliable. It's expensive to fix, and the vendor who's fixing it is always trying to upgrade to make it work correctly. And we have no control over it. All that control is with our vendor. All we can do is emergency ons and offs. So I would respectfully ask that we take the pool lighting off of the automation package and put it back on the photo eyes. One of the photo eyes is still there. One of the photo eyes has been removed, so it's probably an expenditure of less than $100 in parts. And we won't be spending all this extra money lighting the pools. Last night, somebody was here late at night, no lights. And I think they complained to the office. That's a frequent occurrence every time we have any kind of lightning strikes or outages or power surges. And with those kind of power surges and lightning strikes, I was engineering manager for Miller Brewing Company, and I put in a ton of automation. Automation is good, but it isn't good for everything. And automation always costs you money to keep it going, always. And it's usually expensive, and it's usually caused by surges or lightning strikes or something. So I would ask, as stewards of our money, that you do your fiduciary responsibility, remove the pool area from the automation, and put it back on the photocells, which always work. Doesn't care about anything. Sun goes up, lights go off. Sun goes down, lights come on. It's very simple. We don't need an automation package for the lighting. Thank you.
Don Lenio, and I agree with that. Photocells are the way to go. Just a question that came to my mind when I was listening to the comments about the ball stop net, and the fact that the ballpark people would want to put this in by themselves. When it comes to instances like that, doesn't somebody need an HOA proposal to do a permanent improvement on our property? I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so they would need to adhere to whatever specifications the HOA or the board gave them.
All right.
Okay, that's good. And considering the question of the pavers at the parking lot, just interested in knowing whether or not anybody ever considered a reinforced stamped concrete at that point rather than pavers. They're it's much more durable and looks practically the same as an adjustment to the regular pavers. Because even with those pavers, the problem with the pavers is the substrate. It's weakening, and it's probably sand, and that's usually what happens with all pavers, unless they're underlined with concrete. But if you look at as an alternate, a stamped reinforced concrete there that looks similar to pavers, but is much more durable. Thank you.
Bob Saltzman, Lot 1007. I was curious, as I came to the mic earlier, as to what happened to K on the agenda. You know, why we were
didn't have all the
considering
estimates.
overseeding. So
We
okay.
didn't have all the estimates yet, plus there was gonna be an evaluation of the actual golf course to see what it needed. So we put it on there thinking we would have all the information. The information did not come through, so we had to pull it. It'll come back.
That's great. Appreciate that. And I was wondering if there's like a timeline that Cypress is the golf course, says we need to know this by X date because we got to do this by Y date. And if that was,
Yes.
you know, if we are approaching that.
Yes.
No, you're not approaching it.
Well, we're not approaching it, but They have timelines, they know what they're doing, correct, Bill? And so they're going to give us and let us know when we need to make the decision for them and so forth.
But we don't know that yet, when it actually has to be done. Is it September, October, that the seed has to be put down?
We're working with them on that.
Okay, so, thank you very much. Good luck with that. Hope we do it.
Okay. Doesn't look like we have anybody else. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.